Everyone, and welcome back to the King of the Ring podcast. My name is Anthony, and welcome to a special edition of the show. Now, I did have plans to do a multi-person show, but due to some circumstances, people couldn't make it. They couldn't find the time and whatnot to come on, so unfortunately, it's just going to be me today. So, we're going to be talking about WrestleMania 31. So, make sure to leave what you think of the show in the comment section below. I will read all your opinions on the show, whether or not you thought it was a good show, you thought it was a bad show, you thought it was alright, or you didn't give a flying shit. So, we're going to start. The WrestleMania starts off with the Intercontinental ladder match. Now, in my opinion, this was an average match, and I thought it was going to be much better. Now, there was a few cool spots. For instance, Luke Harper powerbombing Dean Ambrose outside. That was pretty ECW. That was awesome. That was really, really good. And I really enjoyed that. And then the headbutt spot with Ziggler and Bryan on the top of the ladder. And then Daniel Bryan, ended up becoming the new Intercontinental Champion. Now, in my opinion, this match was incredibly predictable. You knew that Daniel Bryan was going to win so they could get the crowd going, first match of the night, get the crowd pumped up, a feel-good moment at the start. And is Daniel Bryan going to be a good Intercontinental Champion? I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting, because normally you would associate the Intercontinental with a mid-carder who was struggling to get into the main event scene. Now, Daniel Bryan is a main event talent, and he has now won the Intercontinental Championship. So it's going to be interesting to see how WWE treats Daniel Bryan as the Intercontinental Champion, whether or not it's going to turn into a respectable title again. That will come with due time. So, Daniel Bryan wins. Like I said, there was a few good spots. There was a few good spots that made the match enjoyable to watch. I thought Dean Ambrose died when he got powerbombed through the ladder outside. I was like, oh my god. That was like, it kind of reminded us of when Shelton Benjamin got flung out of the ring off the top of the ladder in the Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania when Carlito and Mr. Kennedy flipped him off and he snapped through the thing. You thought, Jesus, he's never going to walk again. That was a pretty awesome moment. That was a pretty cool moment right there. So, the next match is Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. Now, in my opinion, this could have went two ways, and we'll talk about that in depth. So, Seth Rollins is the Money in the Bank, right? So he comes into this match, and everyone's thinking, is he going to get the win over Randy Orton? Is Randy Orton going to put him over at WrestleMania? And the answer is nope. Randy Orton's not going to put Seth Rollins over at WrestleMania. Randy Orton's ego is too big. He won't put over the younger kid, so he's going to look strong for a possible cash-in later in the night. So this match was actually pretty cool. I actually quite enjoyed this match. Where there was a lot of cool spots. Randy Orton, for some reason now, is rocking elbow pads. Maybe he's trying to go old school and go with the old elbow pads he used to wear when he was the Legend Killer. I have to admit, it did look pretty cool. He does suit the elbow pads on his thing. But anyway, so Seth Rollins comes out, and I'm thinking in the back of my mind that he's not going to win this, but then he's going to go and cash in later on and become the new champion. So Randy Orton, there's like RKO, there's like it's curb stomp, stuff like that. It's a good back and forth match. And the finish was awesome. So Seth Rollins is ready to curb stomp Randy Orton in the middle of the ring. And he runs, does it, and Randy Orton like flips Seth Rollins up with his like neck and shoulder muscles, like flips him up in the air and RKO's him 1, 2, 3. it was an awesome moment, and it will be remembered for a long time as a good WrestleMania moment. And it was really enjoyable to watch. Even though the outcome wasn't what I wanted, the finish made up for that. And very rarely does that happen, but it happened, and I came out of that match thinking, all right, some of these next matches might be quite decent. You know, they might be all right, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So strong, Randy Orton looking strong against Seth Rollins. Maybe Randy Orton might end up becoming a number one contender for the champion coming out of WrestleMania. So that might be pretty interesting to see. So the next match is built up to be this whole thing, okay? So Triple H versus Sting at WrestleMania. Now, in my opinion, I did not give a shit about this match. I love Triple H, but I'm not Sting's biggest fan. You know, I liked him in WCW, but after he left WCW and did his thing in TNA, and it was just awful. And I thought, he's way past it, and I thought this was going to be an awful match. And the thing with this match that really stuck out for me is the fact that the pacing was completely off in this match. This match was slow, and it took too long. There's a theme tonight, guys. If you rewatch WrestleMania, or you watch it after this review, pay close attention to the pacing of the matches during the show. Now, I know they've got to spread the matches out, but they do so in a bad way. The matches become boring. They become stale. They become uninteresting because the wrestlers don't know how to pace the match properly. They'll go either all out at the beginning and then slow down like completely, and then like try and build something up by the end, and by that point it's just not the same anymore. And this match had some cool spots, and NWO and DX came down and they had their thing and they were fighting, and it looked like Kevin Nash tore his quad, and I was laughing because I thought that was just typical Kevin Nash. He's got the quad like fucking paper mache, and there was some pretty cool spots. And it was definitely a cool WrestleMania moment. I'm so glad though that Triple H beat Sting, because if Triple H didn't beat Sting, I thought this would have been a bad match, because no one really likes Sting. Obviously, you've got some like smarks in the crowd, older people who have watched wrestling since they were younger. They know who Sting is, but it wouldn't really make sense for Triple H to job at WrestleMania to Sting, just for the sake of it, I mean, Sting's probably going to get another match at WrestleMania 32 down the line. It's probably going to be against Undertaker or something like that, you know what I mean? If Undertaker can actually still even wrestle when he's going to be 51. So, it's one of those things that you think, like, I think it was good that Triple H won. It sort of put an end to it, because it needed to get finished, if that makes sense. Like, if this feud had continued any longer, or will continue, no one's going to really enjoy it, and people are just going to want it to end. So let us know what you think of this. Obviously, I marked out when NWO and DX came down, and that was its thing. It was like a 90s kid dream sort of thing, seeing all them again. And it was pretty cool, but in the end, I thought it was a lackluster match, but I was just glad the Triple H won. So the next match, Rusev versus John Cena. Now, this match, in my opinion, was awful. Right? I knew Cena was going to shine up his golden shovel, get it perfectly squeaky clean so he can see his face in it, and he was going to bury Rusev at WrestleMania. He knew Rusev wasn't going to win, And you think John Cena had to do it for America? You know, he was going to be the only guy that was going to be able to beat Rusev. Why does it always have to be John Cena? Why couldn't it have been someone else? John Cena's already got the accolades of a lifetime, right? He's got everything you would want, right? Yet he still wants this. Now, Rusev would have looked like an incredible champion if he'd came out of WrestleMania beating John Cena. And John Cena won. That's, you know, you see the memes all over. John Cena wins, lol. This is what happens. So you've got a main event there, right? You've got the face of the WWE as your United States champion. Why? The United States Championship is for jobbers, pretty much. You look at all the United States champions, jobbers, mid-carders, people who can't get anything going, just give them the United States title. I'm not saying that. There has been some good United States champions in the past, but it's mostly a jobber champion in my eyes. And it's going to be interesting to see who Cena gets beaten by to crown a new United States champion. I think it'd be quite cool if they give it to Adrian Neville. I think, or someone like that who come up from NXT, or someone like Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens or Finn Balor, when they come up to the main show and they are now like on the actual Raw and SmackDown. I think that would be a good championship for them to fight over, to give them a platform, if you would like, to stand on, so they could then face John Cena, and he could put over the young talent. Lol, that's not going to happen. He'll shine up his shovel again, get squeaky clean, and he'll bury them again. Probably at a pay-per-view to make them look like a bitch. So, if I remember correctly, I think the Divas match was next. And that was AJ Lee and Paige versus the Bella Twins. And in my opinion, I don't know why this match even existed. If this match was even gonna be a thing, I honestly think it should have been a one-on-one. I think it should have been a one-on-one match where Paige versus Nikki Bella for the title. I think that would have been the best thing to do here. But oh no, the Divas haven't got nothing to do. Let's chuck them in a generic tag match because they haven't got nothing to do and no one cares. Give the Divas a chance. More like, get buried, kid. You know, as much as I love the Divas, they're not going to go anywhere because they just don't they don't sell merch. They don't bring in, they can't sell out 20,000 seat arenas, you know? They're not going to be the poster girls of the company. You know what I mean? They're not going to, like, go out and do all this publicity thing and be the face or one of the faces of the company. And it's such a shame because you think some of them have the talent. Some of them have the talent or the luck to do that. And they're just not giving them a fair enough shot. And putting them in a tag match really shows how little faith they have for just two divas to carry a WrestleMania match. Now, this match was just god-awful. And it made no sense for AJ Lee to tap out Nikki Bella in the middle of the ring. Because Paige has been having the most of the feud with Nikki herself. And you think it would have made more sense for Paige to then get the win over Nikki to then end that feud. But this match just lacked logic. It lacked anything really good. You know, the whole just, it's hard to explain. It's just one of these matches that are just filler. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, when you're like, oh, the Divas match is on, let's go and get some popcorn and fill up our beers from the fridge. We'll go and get some some crisps or something out, you know what I mean? Go and make yourself something to eat, put the pizza in the oven or something. And it's such a shame because if anything, this pay-per-view was a filler match. It was probably the United States Championship match. And that's a shame, but that's how it is. So, obviously, you've got the Undertaker Bray Wyatt match, but there was this segment, okay, that was, I believe it was after the Undertaker Bray Wyatt match. I cannot remember. But it was the Authority win the ring. They were like, the Authority always wins, blah 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 blah. So The Rock comes out. Whoop-de-doo, here comes The Rock. He shows up when he wants. Who cares? It's like, I love The Rock, but if The Rock keeps showing up doing these crappy segments, I'm gonna hate him. I'm not gonna hate The Rock because he's a good guy and he's awesome on the mic and in the ring, but he's past it now, and he just needs to stick to his movies and just not come back. Just retire, have a good career, and just move on. But that's just my opinion. Let us know what you think about that as well. So The Rock comes down, and Ronda Rousey was in the crowd. So him and Ronda Rousey are like in the ring together, and they're like chatting shit to the Authority, blah 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 blah. This segment sucked, in my opinion. It went on too long, you know, and so basically, to get to the good part, to skip out the filler and get to the actual moment. The Rock and the Triple H throwing punches. You know that's setting up a WrestleMania 32 match. You know, there was a segment on SmackDown absolutely donkeys ago where they had a stare-off in the office and they were like talking about how, you know, it was when, I think it was an anniversary of SmackDown when Triple H was like, I kicked your ass on the first episode of SmackDown sort of thing. And they were like going at it and you're like, this is going to be a WrestleMania match, I can see it coming. So maybe WrestleMania 32, The Rock, Triple H might have a match. That might be pretty cool. That might be a good match. But how are they going to build that? How are they going to build up to that? Oh, The Rock's just wanting to come in and stir things up like he always does. But personally, for me, I'm just go Rock. Just, you've had a good career. Go into the movies. If you want to come back, just come back and like do the documentary things or something. You know what I mean? So the next match is The Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt. So, in my opinion, I was not interested in this match in the slightest. I love John Bams. I mean Bray Wyatt. He's really good on the mic, but I still feel like he needs to work more in the ring. Now he's got some good moves, but I still think he lacks a move or a move set that really stands him out in the crowd. You know what I mean? And I knew this match was only going to go one way, and that was The Undertaker beating Bray Wyatt. Because imagine, right, people were getting off it when on WrestleMania 30, when Undertaker got beat up Brock Lesnar. They were losing their mind. They were getting mental, Jeff. And so basically, 21-1? Yeah, that's it. If it was 21-2, people would have had death threats on Bray Wyatt, on the WWE. There would have been riots. People would have set buildings on fire. Now I'm just joking. But there would have been a lot of backlash, and it probably would have ruined the WrestleMania, in my opinion. So the Undertaker wins after two tombstones, putting over Bray Wyatt a little bit there. But it was one of them matches where it's like, it's an Undertaker and Undertaker Jr., pretty much. And it was kind of cool, but yet again, I mean, Bray Wyatt sprained his ankle while they were practicing for the match before the show. And obviously that destroyed any person in this match. And The Undertaker wins. So The Undertaker is now 22-1. So does that make his record any better? I suppose, but I just feel like that Bray Wyatt could have seriously benefited from winning. I think Bray Wyatt's career could have took a massive boost. This could have defined Bray Wyatt. This could have legitimized Bray Wyatt as a proper contender in the WWE, not just some crazy guy with a beard. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the main event. Now, this main event, in my opinion, shouldn't have even had who it had in it. I think Roman Reigns has some potential. Do I think he works hard? Of course. He works hard for what he gets, and he deserves a chance, but not now. I think someone else should have been there, not necessarily Daniel Bryan. I love Daniel Bryan, but I don't think he should have been there. I think someone else should have been there to do that. Now, who could I have put there? In my opinion, I think the perfect match would have been Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. Now you're asking us why would I think that? Because Seth Rollins is the future of the WWE. And if he had won the Royal Rumble instead of the Money in the Bank, I think that would have been better if he'd won. So Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania. I think that would have been awesome. But instead, we had Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, and WWE's logic is make Roman Reigns look as strong as possible. Make him look he's stronger than Superman. He's stronger than John Cena, right? He's John Cena 2.0, right? He can kick John Cena's ass. John Cena can't kick his ass unless he's trying to be shovel again. So Roman Reigns gets an ass whooping off Brock Lesnar, right? Roman Reigns comes back, start fighting, turns into a finisher match. Superman punch, F5. Superman punch, F5. Superman punch, F5. Spear, F5s everywhere, right? It was like The Rock, John Cena. It was like, oh, I need to do 3 finishes. Oh, I need to do 3 finishes. Let's do finishes on each other until the crowd gets bored. So Brock Lesnar ended up blading and was bust open, which was pretty awesome to see because you don't normally see that very often. And it gave the match, in my opinion, a bit more oomph to it. Blood always used to do that. When you've got people who are just ready to battle, like in a last man standing match or something, like back in the day, or 3 stages of hell, blading and busting open was like a great thing for that match because it then made it even more intense. It showed how beat up and battered these opponents were. And it added a lot to the story. If the feud was ending or the feud was beginning, it was a great way to start or end the feud. And this match, in my opinion, for a main event, was not main event quality. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this would make it the best quality ever. But what I want to say is I felt like turning it into a finisher match wasn't what this match needed. I felt like what this match needed was for these two to be 50-50 until the end, and then something happens, either an F5 and Brock Lesnar wins, or for Roman Reigns to win and then off a spear or something like that to make Roman Reigns look strong. But what happened in the end? So if I remember correctly, I think Brock Lesnar F5'd Roman Reigns. Or it might be sorry guys, it's been a day or two since WrestleMania, and obviously with watching Raw and stuff, my mind's been on Raw. And I kind of right. So basically, what happens is they're both knocked out in the ring. Seth Rollins' music hits. The crowd goes crazy. So Seth Rollins runs down. Seth Rollins got his Money in the Bank briefcase in his hand. So he's running down. Gets to the ring. He cashes in. So Seth Rollins curb stomps Brock Lesnar. I believe maybe once or twice. He curb stomps Brock Lesnar. He then curb stomps Roman Reigns. And Seth Rollins is now the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now, if you're Mystic Meg like me, you could have seen this coming. But how it came about surprised us a little bit. Now, there's very few things in WWE that surprise us anymore, because it's very easy to predict what's going to happen if you've got the years of experience of watching it and seeing how things go about. You can generally tell how it's going to happen. Seth Rollins became the champion without Roman Reigns becoming the champion. That surprised us. I thought they would have been battering each other to death, and then Roman Reigns was going to spear Brock Lesnar, like a super spear or something like that, right? 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns is now your new World Heavyweight Champion, right? Seth Rollins comes out, right? They're all going at it. Seth Rollins ends up winning after Roman Reigns becomes champion. So it makes Roman Reigns a champion and then Seth Rollins a champion at the same time. 2 birds, 1 stone. But they didn't do that. Roman Reigns didn't get the pin. Now it makes you think, was this a last minute decision because they thought the backlash would have been pretty bad? They would have thought, ending WrestleMania on the crowd booing the shit out of the competitor who's now your champion would have been crap. Imagine on DVDs and that, they would have had to edit the crowd reaction. You know what I mean? It would have been horrible. The social media backlash. People would have unsubscribed from the network. It would have been trending on Twitter. People would have been complaining and moaning and doing all sorts of things. But in the end, Mr. Money in the Bank cashed in, and he's now Mr. World Heavyweight Champion. So that's pretty awesome. I love Seth Rollins, and I think as a champion, I think he is going to be an awesome champion. Because he's got that heel mentality where, you know, he's always looking to escape and to get out of things and have the upper hand through handicap and manipulation and cheating. You know, that's awesome. That makes a good champion. You know, because he's desperate to keep onto that title at all costs, so he'll go to any means to do so. And I like that. And I think it's going to make Seth Rollins an awesome champion. Unless he gets buried by John Cena. Which might happen at some point. You never know when John Cena might just go, you know what? I want a world title shot. And then he gets a world title shot. And then, that's pretty much... Let's not think about that because we don't want to ruin the review by thinking of John Cena beating Ric Flair's record. Ugh, makes us sick. But, so that's WrestleMania all done. I mean, I think, well, hold on. Before we end, let's just talk about something here. So, for some reason, they've got another Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Why is this a thing now? Surely having multiple memorials then deflates the meaning of the first memorial of which it should have been. It should have only been. In my opinion, if you're going to have a memorial for Andre the Giant, have it at WrestleMania 30, and that's it. Have it special. So then that puts over your winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial like no other. It's almost like having a WrestleMania streak. You know what I mean? That would have given Cesaro an incredible amount of credibility by having that trophy, that accolade on his basically on his resume or CV. You know, it like he would be the guy who won the only Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. That would be an incredible thing to have on you. You know what I mean? That would be a good thing to have on your name. Like when people think about that, they think you won it. But obviously WWE think, you know what, we've got 20, 30 people in the back who we can't be asked to write stories for, we can't be asked to make characters for, they're going nowhere, they can't get over with the fans, you know, we can't market them, they've got no marketability, no one cares. So we'll just chuck them in a battle royal. That's the WWE mentality. If we've got nothing for you, you're going to get stuck in a battle royal. And so, I don't like calling him this, but Damien Mizdow could have won. But in the end, Big Show won. Why? Why? If you have any reasons to why this might have happened, guys, let us know. Either on Twitter, my Twitter will be in the description, or let us know in the comment section below. Why do you think Big Show won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? Like, I just don't understand. Yeah, he's a giant. Yeah, he's a big guy. But that shouldn't make you an automatic assumption to win. You know what I mean? So Damien Mizdow and The Miz have been at each other's throats for a while now, and basically Damien Sandow, I'm going to call him, he was going to have his moment, right? This was it. He was going to have his moment. He turned on The Miz and he threw him over the top rope. The crowd went ballistic. This kid was white hot, right? On fire. What do? They snuff it out and throw him over the top rope, and the crowd boos uncontrollably at the Big Show has just won. Why? Why does this happen? You know, I mean, if you think about it, it could be one or two things. They could be doing this, so then it gives the Andre the Giant thing some credibility. Because imagine if they had two mid-carders win the Battle Royal, then it's like, that doesn't sound as good, does it? But if you've got someone who's a veteran in this business, and a giant like the Big Show win it, then it might give it some shred of credibility. But that's my take on it anyway. We could talk about the tag match, but no one cares. At least I don't care anyway. So let us know. What do you think of the show in general? Now, at the end of the shows, in the podcast, I like to give the show in general a score. Now, if I'm going to give WrestleMania a score, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. And the reason I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 because it was alright, but it wasn't amazing like a WrestleMania should be. And the reason why it wasn't amazing, because the crowd was, pardon my French, fucking awful. The crowd were just dead. That's what happens when you put 70,000 people in a stadium. You know what I mean? In an open stadium. You want to have a good atmosphere? You got to do it old school. You got to do a WrestleMania in like a 20,000 seat stadium, right? And you got to have a close-knit crowd, right? Why can't they have the crowd? Just write down everyone's names from these WrestleMania, like the Raw after WrestleMania crowds. Get them in there. That would be insane, right? Just get every Raw after WrestleMania crowd that you've had that have been decent, shove them in a stadium, and have a WrestleMania there, and then it might be an amazing WrestleMania. But in my opinion, the crowd was let down again. Now, if you've listened to quite a few of the reviews, you know that when I say that, I've said this a few times, some of these shows could be amazing if the crowd was better. And it's just too often. The crowds are so far and few between good. Yeah, the crowds are disappointing 9 times out of 10. And now people know, the WWE know, that for some reason the Raw after WrestleMania is when the crowd steps up. And they step up big. And it's crazy, everyone loves it. But that's it for the WrestleMania 31 review, guys. So if you have enjoyed, please leave your thoughts in the comments. That'll be awesome. If you have enjoyed as well, please support by subscribing. That'll be awesome. So you can come back and listen to some reviews in the future. So I've been Anthony. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you guys later.